Hi, my name is Doreen Dahl. I live in Oregon now, but I used to live in Alaska. Back in 1951, I married a fisherman, and we had a big seine boat in Cordova. So I raised my kids on the boat, took them aboard when they were little, tiny, made playpens for them by stringing fishnet across the bunks. And I went on the boat when most women were not allowed on the boat. There was probably two of us women at that time that were out on fishing boats. All the rest were men because it was supposedly bad luck. My son's a commercial fisherman now, has gill netted for 50 years in the Prince William Sound, Copper River. And he called me about 4 years ago and said, "Mom, I know you like to do poetry, and I like the fishing, and how would you like to go do the Fisher Poets?" And I said, "Wow, that sounds like a really great idea." So this is my 4th year here, and I just love it. I see people from Alaska that I haven't seen for years and years, and the camaraderie, the fun we have, the old stories, the tales of fishing really make me nostalgic. I've written 7 children's books, and they are all about Alaska adventures, a lot of them about the fishing. They're all true stories, and that's been one of the pleasures of my life. And I'm really looking forward to speaking tonight. Well, all the fishermen and the idea that they're poets, is just to me a really unique idea. Yeah, I had never thought growing up or even in the fishing business of any of them being a poet. And so when I took up poetry, it didn't cross my mind. So this has been an eye-opening thing for me, and really neat, really neat. I look forward to it every year. Well, I've always enjoyed writing, and I wrote these children's stories and poems for my great-grandchildren for a Christmas present, and my daughter insisted that I turn them into a book. And so it went from them kind of reliving old Alaska fishing experiences and that to I went to a poetry class, scared to death, and just started writing some poetry. And the more you learn, the more you know you don't know, but it's fun. And you have to think of it as fun. I think everybody is a poet. I go now to some classes where new people are there and they don't think they can write, and then they'll write a piece and they'll say, "Oh, that was really bad." And I'll say, "You touched us." And that's poetry to me. It doesn't have to rhyme. It doesn't have to be 5, 7, 9 beats or anything. I said, when you can touch the reader, you're a writer. And the poetry is just an offshoot of that. I don't write really good poetry, but everybody seems to like it, so maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. And I found out with the Fisher Poets that I can talk about, I can do poetry or prose, and I can talk about like Alaska, the fishing industry 50 years ago, where I can't talk about it to anybody else. They don't know what I'm talking about. And I really feel that there's history there. And once I'm 86 now, and once I'm gone, a lot of it's going to be gone. A lot of the history, a lot of that way of life, So I think a lot of these poets, they bring out a lot of the raw life that was the life of a fisherman,
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so powerful.
And it's all very...
It's all gutsy. Yeah, it's real right from their gut.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, why I enjoy this so much, this
Yeah.
Poet Fishers thing.
Yeah.
It just brings it all to life. And it's a time that's going to be gone. It's never going to come back, Yeah, I do at first when I'm writing it, when I'm doing it. But then if I've rehearsed it and I'm doing it, it's okay. But I just took a class now, and you got to show passion. You got to show your passion. You got to smile and make eye contact. So I'm got all this going around in my head now. Do that because I'll tell you, you're very vulnerable in a theater. I told them that last year. In a bar, Everybody's had a few drinks, everybody's happy, you can't do anything wrong, right?
And you're all telling
Yeah,
stories to each
you're
other.
sitting in this theater, everybody's sitting like this, and it's like, uh-oh, you know. So I come right out and tell them that. I say, hey, I'm very vulnerable right now in this theater. If I was in a bar, I would be very relaxed, yes. But anyway, yeah, I have a million stories, and sometimes it's a question of sorting out the most important ones because they do reach back.
Yeah.
Nostalgia, yeah. A lot of nostalgia. There is. I did a story last year. It was called The Knife. And it was a kind of a salute to the knife that fishermen wear that have saved their lives. And I gave 3 or 4 vignettes of instances where that happened. And my girlfriend says, you know, she says it's the same on a farm. She says farmers,
Yeah.
they always carry a knife for this or that. And she said her 92-year-old mother was with her in the car. And she said, Mom, she goes, I got to get this package or something open. Do you happen to have a knife? And she goes, yep. She pulls it out of her purse. Never go anywhere without it. I thought that was kind of,
Like my
yeah,
mother, never
yeah.
go anywhere without
I
it.
just thought that was a good, you know, yeah, you don't think of the farmers and fish. And I went all about the fishermen, you know. And she says, farmers are the same way. Yeah,
Well, I wish we could talk longer, but
I know. I think, yeah, I got to get ready to.
And you gotta get
up
ready.
stage.
Bye.
Yeah, take some deep breaths. Thank you very kindly.